Today we explore the transport, armored vehicles, and motorcycles used by Dutch forces during World War II, from pre-war designs to Allied service and exile. If you're interested in World War II military technology and the lesser-known vehicles of smaller nations, subscribe now. DAF Trado truck, a standard Dutch military transport vehicle, reached road speeds of about 45 miles per hour, weighed roughly 4.5 tons, and had an operational range near 300 miles. Using the innovative Trado off-road suspension, it was employed for troop transport, logistics, and artillery towing during the 1940 campaign. DAF WWII, a light military truck, reached speeds of approximately 50 miles per hour, weighed around 3.2 tons, and had a range of about 280 miles. It served as a general-purpose transport for supplies, infantry, and communications units. DAF WWII, a heavier transport truck, cruised at about 45 miles per hour, weighed roughly 5.5 tons, and had a range near 300 miles. It supported logistics, fuel transport, and artillery units before and during the German invasion. Chevrolet 1-ton truck, Dutch service, license-built and imported, reached speeds of around 55 miles per hour, weighed approximately 4 tons, and had a range near 320 miles. Widely used by Dutch forces for transport and supply duties. Ford 8 military truck, Netherlands, a common pre-war utility vehicle, reached speeds of about 60 miles per hour, weighed roughly 3.8 tons, and had a range of around 300 miles. It was used for logistics, staff transport, and light towing. Landsverk L-180 Pantserwagen, a heavy armored car, reached speeds of approximately 50 miles per hour, weighed around 7.8 tons, and had a range near 180 miles. Armed with a 37mm gun, it formed the backbone of Dutch armored reconnaissance units in 1940. Landsverk L-181 Pantserwagen, an export variant adapted for Dutch service, cruised at about 48 miles per hour, weighed roughly 8 tons, and had a range of around 170 miles. It supported mobile defense and reconnaissance operations. DAF M39 Pantserwagen, a modern Dutch armored car, reached speeds of about 47 miles per hour, weighed approximately 12 tons, and had a range near 185 miles. Armed with a 37mm cannon, it was one of the most advanced Dutch armored vehicles, though only limited numbers saw combat. Renault FT, Dutch service, an early light tank, reached speeds of around 5 miles per hour, weighed roughly 6.5 tons, and had a very limited range. Obsolete by 1940, it was retained mainly for training and internal security roles. Vickers light tank Mk6, KNIL, used by Dutch colonial forces, reached speeds of about 35 miles per hour, weighed approximately 5 tons, and had a range near 130 miles. It served in reconnaissance roles in the Dutch East Indies. BMW R12 motorcycle, Dutch Army, a military motorcycle with sidecar capability, reached speeds of around 60 miles per hour and was used for reconnaissance, dispatch riding, and convoy escort duties. Zundap KS600, Dutch service, a heavy military motorcycle, cruised at approximately 62 miles per hour and supported communications and reconnaissance units during the early war period. Humber light reconnaissance car, Dutch forces in exile, reached speeds of about 50 miles per hour, weighed roughly 3 tons, and had a range near 250 miles. Used by Dutch units operating alongside Allied forces after 1940. Universal carrier, Dutch units with Allies, reached speeds of around 30 miles per hour, weighed approximately 4 tons, and had a range near 150 miles. It was used for transport, reconnaissance, and infantry support roles. Willys MB Jeep, Dutch forces in exile, reached speeds of about 65 miles per hour, weighed roughly 1.1 tons, and had a range near 300 miles. It became the standard light transport vehicle for Dutch units fighting with the Allies. DAF WWII, a light pre-war military truck, reached speeds of about 45 miles per hour, weighed roughly 2.8 tons, and had a range near 260 miles. It was used for light cargo transport, engineering units, and communications support. DAF WWII, a compact utility truck, cruised at approximately 40 miles per hour, weighed around 2.5 tons, and had a range of about 250 miles. It served mainly in logistics and rear area support roles. Opel Blitz, Dutch service. A German-built truck captured and reused, reached speeds of about 50 miles per hour, weighed roughly 4 tons, and had a range near 320 miles. It was employed after occupation for transport and infrastructure work. Citroën Type 45, Netherlands Army. A medium transport truck, cruised at around 48 miles per hour, weighed approximately 4.5 tons, and had a range of about 300 miles. Used for troop transport and supply convoys before 1940. Bussing NAG G31, Dutch service. A heavy-duty truck reached speeds of about 40 miles per hour, weighed roughly 6 tons, and had a range near 280 miles. It supported artillery towing and heavy logistics. Marmon Harrington CDLS-4 TAC, Colonial, a light tank, reached speeds of approximately 30 miles per hour, weighed around 7.5 tons, and had a range near 150 miles. Used by Dutch colonial forces in the East Indies during 1941 to 1942. Marmon Harrington MTLS 1GI-4, a twin-turret light tank, cruised at about 28 miles per hour, weighed roughly 8.5 tons, and had a range of around 140 miles. Though unreliable, it represented Dutch attempts to modernize armored forces overseas. White Scout Car M3A1, Dutch forces in exile, reached speeds of about 55 miles per hour, weighed approximately 5.6 tons, and had a range near 250 miles. It was used for reconnaissance and convoy escort with Allied forces. Austin K2Y ambulance, Dutch service, cruised at around 50 miles per hour, weighed roughly 3.5 tons, and had a range of about 300 miles. It provided frontline medical evacuation and support. Scammell Pioneer, Dutch used with Allies. A heavy recovery and artillery tractor reached speeds of about 30 miles per hour, weighed approximately 10 tons, and had a range near 200 miles. It was used for vehicle recovery and heavy towing operations. DAF WWII, a medium military truck, reached speeds of about 47 miles per hour, weighed roughly 3.5 tons, and had a range near 300 miles. It was used for troop transport, logistics, and towing light artillery units. Ford the 3000S, Dutch service. A German-built 3-ton truck operated in occupied Netherlands, cruised at approximately 50 miles per hour, weighed around 4 tons, and had a range of about 320 miles. It supported transport and construction duties. Chevrolet G506, Dutch forces in exile. A 1.5-ton 4x4 truck, reached speeds of about 55 miles per hour, weighed roughly 3.8 tons, and had a range near 280 miles. Used with Allied units for supply and engineering tasks. Harley-Davidson WLA, Dutch service. A military motorcycle, cruised at around 60 miles per hour, weighed approximately 540 pounds, and had a range of about 150 miles. It served in reconnaissance, dispatch, and military police roles. BMW R12, captured and reused. A heavy military motorcycle with sidecar, reached speeds of about 58 miles per hour, weighed roughly 930 pounds, and had a range near 220 miles. Employed for patrol and liaison duties after capture. Despite limited resources, Dutch soldiers relied on a wide range of trucks, armored cars, tanks, and motorcycles that supported combat, logistics, and reconnaissance across Europe and overseas. If you enjoy detailed military history and rare vehicle profiles, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more World War II equipment breakdowns.